What do you do if your client wants to pause? This question was inspired by a client of mine who's on track to six figures, and a client comes to her and says, "My client wants to pause their program for 3 months. What do I do?" Truth is, when a client asks to pause your program, it's often the beginning of the end. Many never come back and they miss out on the results that they were so close to achieving. And as a health coach, your goal is not just to enroll clients, but to get them true transformation. So, why is this so important? Because every pause isn't just a break in momentum, it's a potential exit. And the truth is, there are legitimate reasons for a client to step back. And as healers, we're called to have a compassion. But there are also times when a pause happens to be right at the edge of a breakthrough when they're facing the hardest part, the part where they grow, and allowing them to quit at that moment isn't kindness. It's a disservice to their journey and your coaching practice. So the stakes are high here. Your approach to this situation can mean the difference between a client who loses focus and one who pushes through to get life-changing results. And when your clients succeed, so does your business through testimonials and referrals that fuel your growth. Let's tackle this head on as I walk you through how to navigate client pause requests with empathy and strategic action so both your clients and your practice thrive. I got 8 great principles for you to follow. So let's go back to my client specific situation. And again, let's call her Laura. And Laura asked, "My client wants to pause because she's overwhelmed with all that she's got going on and she's getting other counseling elsewhere and she's working full time. And this is all just too much." So Laura knew she could help this client, and she knew that a pause now was not in their best interest. But this client had recently lost her husband, but so had Laura. And this was Laura's specific area of expertise. She was familiar with the grief process and how to navigate this. But Laura wanted to let her client know that wellness starts in the gut and the other counseling was only part. But she said, "How do I say that? Should I say that? What should I do?" So Laura had compassion for the grief journey her client was going through, but she also knew that alone and without support is a tough journey. And Laura actually had tools that she could assist. So here is what I told her. First, I would not talk about gut health or anything like that. And although this client just wanted to cancel her next appointments, and good for Laura for booking those appointments, see how in one of our previous episodes, I believe it was episode 13, on how to onboard a client like a pro, do you see how having those appointments booked were phenomenal? And had she not already had those set, that client would just ghost. So check out, I believe it's episode 13 of the Six Figure Health Coach podcast for best practices on onboarding a client. So here's my advice to this client. Whenever things feel like they are going sideways in your business at any part, come from love and hop on a call. That practice has always served me well. And if I ever missed that or circumstances were such that I couldn't, I did not get the desired results. So number one, hop on a call with love. Love on her. Hold the space for success. And even if all the two of them did was get on a call and breathe, that's valuable. Right now, that person is hurting and they need more support, not less. Number two would be on that call, focus on her topic of concern, anxiety, mental health, whatever that is that she's looking at, and less on what she now has a false impression that this coach does, which is like just focus on nutrition or gut health. This is not that client's top priority right now. And so because the client's desire to pause indicates she doesn't value Laura's service at the moment. But decreasing stress and anxiety, client's concern, does improve gut health and vice versa. All are connected, everyone wins. But address the concern that the client has. Now, number three, you want to have more support, no pressure, but not less. Understand that now is when she needs you more than ever. More support, not less. And number four, have a big picture understanding. Sometimes when we're right here in the weeds of this, it can be easy to get swayed to just abandon her in her hour of need because she said so, and you feel bad for her. But in my years of experience, no one ever improved after a pause. And in the history of our company, all 100% deteriorated, not improved with the pause, with one possible exception, which happens to be my particular client, Laura, here. But it was her steadfast commitment to her clients to serve, which was exemplary. But when Laura's husband died, she was obviously devastated and grief stricken and asked for a pause. And Laura has always had a clear intention and commitment to serve her clients, and that has moved her forward. And so coincidentally, we happen to have at the Health Professional Academy a live event, and she attended that event, and that allowed her to recommit to an even greater degree. And she's now on track to six figures. But it is a lot harder for people to regain momentum on their own. And it takes extraordinary effort and focus and commitment to return and resume. Exactly the things that someone asking for a pause is lacking. So a pause does not hold space for their success. And Laura knew that, and she knew that her client would almost certainly never return. And although the scenarios between them seem similar, they're actually very different. My client, Laura, made a commitment to work on her business with a healthy husband, but then her husband died. Now, Laura's client's husband, who also died, well, that circumstance was similar, but this client's husband had already died when she hired Laura. And the reason she did was because it was having a negative impact on her health. And that was why she sought out help from Laura. And so the reason for the pause was overwhelm and her current life that was perpetuating the problem and a misunderstanding of what Laura actually could do. So number 5, the tip for number 5 is consider the real reason for the pause. Almost never, in fact, never is a pause a good idea. But sometimes the issue is so great, the client is willing to sacrifice their health and allow this self-sabotage. Moves, financial issues, etc., all very bad excuses. It is self-sabotage in disguise. It seems so logical. It seems so rational. It's actually an upper limit problem. And for more understanding of upper limiting, I recommend the book The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. It's the one with the goldfish jumping out of one fishbowl into the other. And so the circumstances can seem totally legit and logical, but this is at the root a self-sabotaging belief that prevents you from getting beyond your glass ceiling. We all do it. I do it. You do it. Most of the time, we don't even know we're doing it, but only often after sometimes years later in retrospect, you take a look and you're like, oh, I did it there. I did it there. Often easier to spot in someone else than in yourself, because when it's your own excuse, it seems so logical, but you'll see the pattern. You get to a certain point and you just can't bust through. But that's why you do not want to allow pauses, as it holds space for their failure. And I always only try to hold space for their success. That's why we have so many success stories, those little pins from people around the world, our health coaches, of people who've gone from zero income to breakthrough to 6 and multiple 6 figures. That requires busting through their upper limit. That requires raising up their financial thermostat, their set point. So they will revert back to their old ways by default, that seem miserably safe and keep them stuck. So a pause just has them default to, at best, be where they are, which is not feeling good, or deteriorate, which is essentially quitting for now, that almost always turns into forever. And they never get those results. But in the moment when they're rationalizing and begging you for a pause, in that spot where it is darkest before the dawn, it is hard, really hard for them to hear you and hear this or acknowledge it. But years of experience, hundreds of examples, it's true. So, what do you do? Well, number 6 is prevention. Prevention is actually the best. Set clear expectations at the beginning. Let them know there will be what Seth Godin calls the dip. You start off really excited and then it gets real in the dip. And he says, don't quit in the dip. The time to quit is before you start. If you don't want to go on this journey, if you don't want these results, don't even start. But if you are on it, don't quit in the dip. Keep going. Or Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. Don't quit 3 feet from the gold. You know, there was somebody who was digging and digging for years, trying to strike gold. They end up giving up. They sell the land, and the next owner almost immediately strikes gold, and the previous owner had stopped 3 feet from the goal. Truly, the only way to fail is to quit, and a pause is a quit that seems temporary, but is almost always forever. So there will be moments that your clients will doubt that they can do this. Let them know that you believe in them and that they can borrow your belief until they have it for themselves. This is why we have so many six-figure health coach success stories. I truly believe in them and I know our process works. And if I don't believe that they can do this, that they're capable, I do not invite them into the program. So believe that you can help your clients or do not invite them into your program. And if you do believe in them, let them know you got them. And don't overwhelm them with modules or tasks that is more than they can handle. These people are not coming to you generally on a winning streak. Meet them where they're at and then lift them up. And that orientation, be crystal clear on the graduation date. Book those weekly calls, same time each week. Never leave one call without booking the next. Just hold their hand really, really closely. And you might be saying, hey, that's really great, Shaunna, but what do you actually tell Laura to do beyond hop on a call and love on her when prevention opportunity is passed? Well, prevention is still possible. They've just requested a pause or canceled an appointment. Technically, they haven't really paused. Do not underestimate the power of hopping on a call and loving and supporting and listening to your clients. Super powerful. But what I also told Laura was number 7, give more time and support. She's overwhelmed. Take the pressure off, but increase the support. Don't abandon her. Get on the call and just breathe. Let her breathe and hold her hand virtually, even just let her know that you're there. Bounce ideas off of. You've walked this journey. You can help her. So just getting on a call is easy for you to do. You can do this. So give more support, not less. Just meet and breathe. You want her success, not her money, but giving her a pause is allowing room for failure. Instead, if she is already overwhelming herself with other things that she's taking on and things that she's doing, and she's edging out your proven process that you know will be life-changing for her, we want to bring that clarity. So hop on a call, and then extend her graduation by even a couple of months. And if she needs to take some time away for other things, to travel, whatever she needs to do, but not an open-ended graduation, pause forever. Let's see what, keep holding her hand, give more time, not less, more support, not less. So if her graduation was January, like put March 1st is the graduation date, not loosey-goosey, clarity really there. And then last resort, number 8, pause with boundaries. Pause with clear boundaries, not an open-ended pause, but set a clearly defined date on your calendar with clear expectations and a date on her calendar. So this would not be a good scenario or option for this particular client of Laura's, because this client needs more support, not a to-do list. But support them, and as a coach, you can do that. But sometimes there may be a situation that you do feel warrants a pause, but beware, almost never does this work out well. But if you do, set a specific date and a time and book the return on the calendar and what they are to do in the interim. I always say clarity is prosperity. It's so important. So, coaching clients through this transformation is a delicate process. I liken it to like carrying delicate eggs. And this is when they're trying to hop out of the basket and crack on the floor. So, do your best to carry them to safety and to the light at the end of the tunnel that you know is there, but they just can't see it in the dip when it's darkest before the dawn. They're vulnerable. So, hold space for their success. Hop on a call, lead with love, give more support, take the pressure off, and do your best to help them have the best results. Those people who do not actually pause when they are tempted to, because you did these steps that I outlined, often become your best success stories. They resisted the temptation to quit in the dip and fall back down, to go to that upper limit and fall back down. And instead, they bust through their upper limit that allowed for their quantum leap results. Let me know if you have a tricky, sticky situation you would like to know how to handle. I love answering these questions, and I'm happy to lend my years of experience, shed some light, because the world really does need you and your healing gifts. Check the link below for a training I have on how to create a successful, thriving, six-figure, soul-satisfying health coaching practice. And if you know of a health coach or other healer that would love this Six-Figure Health Coach podcast or this Dr. Shaunna YouTube channel series, be sure to share it with them so that together we can help this world be a healthier, happier place. Be good for you.